sorry, but AD should have laid hands on Laura, and I'm not talking about hands of prayer, because Laura literally tried to incite violence on that black woman, and even though she gave that fake weird apology at the reunion, she still deserves to have some hands laying on her. And I'm not talking about hands of prayer, for real. The journalists are not journalizing anymore, because I'm gonna need anybody who doing these podcast interviews, talk show hosts, or whatever with AD to ask the real serious questions, because Nick and Vanessa Pussy want to go ask it at the reunion. Season 11, AD in this season of Love is Blind reminded me a lot of Tamla Horsford. Y'all know that black woman who was found unalived after the night spent with her white female friends or whatever, and the whole case has just been so sketchy, and I still don't believe to this day there's been any justice found for what happened to her. The whole thing was seen sketchy, and these were her friends, just like Laura deemed herself as a friend to AD, the same woman who, even when she tried to like address the situation, the bean dip situation on the reunion, she did so only to make herself like clear her name. AD obviously was uncomfortable about the situation, didn't even want to talk about it. And I think that's because she knows that in a situation, she was not seen as the victim. The only issue is, and you saw it was affirmed by two people. Jeramey and Laura don't even mess with each other. And Jeramey apologized for making a joke public. Not because what the joke entailed and what it consisted of and how deeply problematic and horrible it is, because they just see the repercussions that it could have for them, and they have to protect their own interests, and it should have just been a personal secret. Laura, how does somebody take out of context a very specific step-by-step joke? Go up to this black who you've never met before and flop them black titties. Where do you take that? Where's the mistaken context? Two things. I think Laura said the joke to Jeramey that's not a joke, because I think she was trying to get AD out of the way and already kind of like know that AD is an attractive woman and she's gonna be introducing her man to this woman, and so he kind of like, so to kind of like immediately hoe her out and make her seem like she's not worthy, she's dumb her down to only her looks, she's gonna have him just sexualize her and do this horrible thing to her or whatever, and say it and brush it off as a joke. And then the other part is because so much in this country, black women are seen as the butt of the joke, the expense, and, you know, one thing I think we've seen throughout the history of this country and the world is that black women, especially dark-skinned women, are not seen as people who are damsels, who should be protected, who are soft, and are worthy and deserving of somebody standing up for them, and, you know, standing up for their rights and holding people accountable when wrongdoings are done against them. Like, remember, these people are like in Charlotte, so like they're like in the South or whatever, they're used to these types of things and being in these types of environments where their whiteness and the white femininity and white softness or whatever is held at a priority, and a dark-skinned black woman who has been like wronged in this situation, of course, is not going to be seen as a victim. Then you put on a national platform where they will have to address this. Of course, they're not going to address it. I don't give a fuck how cool, funky, and spunky Laura is. What that lady said and did, and how she's dodged accountability, is unforgivable and so strange to me. And I really hate that there's something that we've seen on a national platform and nobody has really come to AD's defense, even in the aftermath. Like, I'm gonna need these podcast hosts, the people who doing these interviews with AD, to bring the situation up. I hope she's doing okay and healing from this, even if she's not somebody who necessarily feels like the victim in this situation. Me watching this, I felt her pain. I've been in a situation similar to this, and I'm a black man. I've been in the military, been in these type of situations where nobody stood up for me when I was being overly sexualized and having sexual assault and harassment pushed on me, and then not even being able to feel like I could stand up for myself or be the victim, or I'm the only one speaking up for myself. And these people, because they're my white counterparts, they're seen as, you know, they're seen as the ones that need to be protected, and their feelings are more important than mine. You know what I mean? Like, am I tripping? I do really feel like AD was in a very unsafe situation, from the Chelsea thing to the Laura thing, nobody holding her accountable, the Clay thing, all that stuff. It's so sad to see and witness, knowing that she's the only, like, you know, black woman in this group or whatever that made it that far. It's hard to have somebody defend you, and then one of the people you see as your friends, who I think, I'm assuming Laura was her friend, incite physical violence on her, and then backpedal and not even be able to hold space for AD to be the victim in the situation. That's crazy, and it has to do something to your mind. So I'm giving her grace in that aspect, and it's really sad. To me, women like Laura are very dangerous, and I have no sympathy for her. Like, girl, You were mean. You hated Jeramey. She was a mean woman. She was never nice to that man. She never wanted that man. Was he wrong for doing her like that? Absolutely. But I've seen other people talk about this, but them pussy ass Lachey's who hosted their reunion and didn't ask the right questions, they seem like not to want to get into it. So, like, are we tripping or what? Ultimately, it just seems like it's one of those things that people are focused on the wrong situation or just avoiding to they know how big of a topic is. But to me, that gives it more reason to be talked about because it's such a serious and major topic. Like, what the fuck? Laura is a villain and an evil ass bitch, and she deserves no type of platformation until she holds herself accountable. But she seems like the type not to hold herself accountable because she seems like she is just unbearable as hell and mean as fuck. Like our whole family seemed like they were irritated as fuck by her. She was mean as I, never mind. Let me know how y'all feel about this situation. But overall, to me, I guess it's just a lesson on like everybody ain't your friend, and just because somebody apologizes doesn't mean they resolve their crimes. Because look at the way that the way the person apologized, and how they choose to take accountability and what they choose to address, and how they feel about the situation moving forward. Because the whole thing is just really sad to see, and I hope and wish the best for AD. I hope she finds peace in this. I don't want this to be triggering for her or anybody, but it's just something I wish had been addressed more and handled more head on to hopefully, mitigate these types of things happening in the future. Because if you don't address it and call to action these types of things, they're bound to happen again and again. And who knows what the next victim's outcome is going to be or where this could have gone. You know what I'm saying? Especially everything we've learned now about Jeramey and his, it's just very unfortunate to see. But this is the gym glam. I'm headed to the gym. Ugh, love y'all. Okay, bye.